Right now and bring in our guest. That's Dan Gerstein, Democratic strategist, political consultant as well. Worked with Joe Lieberman for a decade and also helped to run his 2004 presidential campaign and the 2006 Senate campaign. He joins us on the line. Dan, thank you.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Very good. Want to talk to you a little bit about how things may be going in Washington today with this story that's developing. Again, Emanuel likely to leave in weeks, likely before the November election. But this is not necessarily a surprise development.
Not at all. And, this is a classic example, to quote the president's famous words, of Washington getting wee-weed up over something that most Americans could care less about. I mean, this is total inside baseball. I heard some of your correspondents talking earlier about, the Republicans will try and make hay of this. No one will care. And they'll just look foolish by pointing to something that's a process story that the American people really don't care about. They care about results. Now, the real story here is what's going to happen after Rahm Emanuel leaves, and that will make that choice that the president makes will, determine a great deal what kind of strategy he's going to pursue in this new environment.
You're saying this is all inside baseball, that people care about results, not necessarily the changes that may be happening in Washington. But there may be some that say, well, what is happening to lead all these people to leave and right now to depart?
Well, I think it's two things. One is there is a natural turnover at the end of the second year of a presidential term where a lot of people leave. It's just part of the rhythms of presidential administration. And in this particular environment, it's no surprise at all that a lot of these guys are just absolutely burned out. This has been a hellish 2 years to govern, both policy-wise and politically. Again, it's no surprise at all. And I think the timing, again, it would probably be better for the president if Rahm Emanuel left in December versus now. But is it going to make that big a difference in the long run of his presidency? Absolutely not.
Dan, quick question before we wrap up the conversation. I know you're a consultant. One of the taglines of your company is the power of persuasion. What's the White House, what's the administration trying to persuade us all to believe and to take into our being right now?
I think their ability to persuade in the next 60 days before the election is pretty minimal. And I think they should not get wrapped up in the process story here about who's leaving, who's coming, who's going. I think what they need to be focused on much more is their long-term strategy and the story they're going to tell the American people about how they're going to get the economy going again and how they're going to create jobs. That's me. And, Larry Summers leaving, this presents an opportunity for the president to retool the leadership in his administration so it becomes better executing. People want results, and this administration, while it's done some good things, hasn't delivered on the big question of job creation.
Opportunity to retool is what you just said, but as a Democratic strategist, as a consultant, what would you be consulting? What would you be saying about how to persuade, using your word, and how to share that message with the American public that they are on track?
Well, I think the president, first of all, should stop trying to convince people that things are better than they could have been, because while that's technically true, it's not going to cut it with the American people. I think more than anything, he needs to be talking about where we are as a country, where we need to go, and then what he's going to do, what his administration is going to do to lead us there.
Dan,
and I think that
so
requires
much.